Good morning, friends. Thanks for joining us for another episode in our Kids Wellness Wednesdays. My name is Miss Afton, and today we're going to continue thinking about thankfulness. Now, last week we started thinking about thankfulness, or really just thinking about some of the good things in our lives and thinking about how they make us feel. All right, and to do that, we had a special challenge. So I hope that you tried our challenge. We asked you to think of 3 different things that you're thankful for every day and to either write them down or share them with someone else. You could even make a display of your 3 thankful things. But we wanted you to think of what you're thankful for and why you're thankful for it. Because thinking about why something is important to us or why we think it's good can help us keep that positive feeling and those happy feelings for longer. All right, so today we're going to be continuing thinking about some of the good things in our lives, and we're also going to think about how we can share some of that goodness. So to help us think about it, we have the multi-award-winning story, Thank You, Omu. Right? It was written and illustrated by Oge Mora. So on the cover, you can see we have a little boy and a big bowl of something that smells delicious. Let's read Thank You, Omu. And so Thank You, Omu was published by Little Brown and Company. Thank You, Omu. On the corner of First Street and Long Street, on the very top floor, Omu was cooking thick red stew in a big fat pot for a nice evening meal. She seasoned and stirred it and took a small taste. "What a delicious stew," Omu said. "Tonight's dinner will surely be the best I have ever had." With that, Omu put down her spoon and went to read a book before supper. As the thick red stew simmered on the stove, its scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall toward the street and around the block, until knock! Someone was at the door. When Omu opened it, she saw a little boy. "So, little boy," Omu exclaimed, "what brings you to my home?" "I was playing with my race car down the hall when I smelled the most delicious smell," the little boy replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew." Stew," he sighed. "That sure sounds yummy." So Omu thought for a moment. She was saving her stew for dinner, but she had made quite a bit. It would not hurt to share. "Would you like some?" The little boy nodded. And so Omu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Omu," the little boy said, and went on his way. With that, Omu closed the door and went back to her book. As she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and down out the door and down the hall toward the street and around the block until knock, knock. Someone was at the door. When Omu opened the door, this time she saw a police officer. "Miss Police Officer," Omu exclaimed, "what brings you to my home?" "I was on duty down the street when I smelled the most delicious smell," Miss Police Officer replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew." "Ah, stew," she said, and her mouth watered. "That sounds mighty tasty." Do you think Omu will share again? Omu thought for a moment. There was still enough to share. "Would you like some?" The police officer nodded. Once again, Omu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Omu," the officer said, and went on her way. pot. And so, for the second time, Omu closed the door and went back to her book. Sure enough, as she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall toward the street, and around the block until... Knock, knock, knock. Again, someone was at Omu's door. This time, when she opened the door, she saw a hot dog vendor. "Mr. Hot Dog Vendor," Omu exclaimed, "what brings you to my home?" "I was selling my hot dogs down the block when I smelled the most delicious smell," Mr. Hot Dog Vendor replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew." "Oh, stew." The vendor licked his lips. "That sounds quite delectable." So Omu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Omu," the hot dog vendor said, and he went on his way. Throughout the day, people from all across the neighborhood knocked on Omu's door. She fed a shop owner, a cab driver, a doctor, an actor, a lawyer, a dancer, a baker, an artist, a singer, an athlete, a bus driver, a construction worker. Even the mayor stopped by. And each time they knocked, Omu shared. That's a lot of her stew she's sharing. Oh no. So soon the sky darkened, the street lights brightened, and it was finally time for dinner. But when Omu opened her big fat pot of thick red stew for her nice evening meal, it was empty. Omu sniffled. "There goes the best dinner I ever had." Sorry and blue, she sat at the table with her empty pot until knock, 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 knock. Who could that be? Omu wondered. When she opened her door, she saw... Who do you think's at her door this time? Let's see. The little boy? The police officer? The hot dog vendor? The shop owner? The cab driver? The doctor? The actor? The lawyer? The dancer? The baker? Why, everyone she fed today was at her door. "I'm sorry, everyone," Omu sighed. "My thick red stew is all gone. I have nothing left to share." The little boy tugged at Omu's sleeve. "Don't worry, Omu. We are not here to ask. We are here to give." So what did they bring? The police officer carried in a fresh salad, the mayor entered with a roast chicken, the baker brought a collection of sweet goodies, even the little boy presented Omu with something special in a shiny red envelope. Everyone who had knocked on Omu's door that day squeezed inside her tiny apartment, and together they ate, danced, and celebrated. While Omu's big fat pot of thick red stew was empty, her heart was full of happiness and love. So all of those people throughout the day, Omu shared her stew with, and they were so thankful that at the end of the day, they came back to show her how much they appreciated the stew by sharing food of their own. And can you see, what does the card from the little boy say? It says, "Thank you, Omu." And that dinner was the best Omu ever had. So at first, Omu was worried that she wouldn't have any dinner. But because she was so helpful and generous to everyone else that day, they brought things to share with her to show how thankful they were for her stew. So we love this story because it's a great example of feeling thankful for something and then doing something about it. So that is our challenge for this week. All right, what we'd like you to do together as a family is keep thinking of those thankful things. So maybe for older kids, you're doing 3 a day. For younger kids, if you think of 1 together, that's totally fine. Again, it's all about what works best for you. But we'd like you to take some of those thankful things and then think about what you can do to share your thankful feelings. So some ways that you can share your thankful feelings this week. Maybe like the boy in Thank You Omu, you make a thank you card. Right? Pretty easy. You can also draw a picture that shares how thankful you are. You can make some special food, sing a special song, give someone a hug. Right? There are lots of ways you can share your feelings of thankfulness. You can also do things like volunteer, donate some of your things that you don't use anymore, so you can pass on the feelings of gratitude as well. Now, there is one special way that you can actually say thank you here at the library as well. So today is a very special day. It's Veterans Day, where we think about all of the sacrifices and all of the things that veterans have done for us. So these are people who have served in the military in some capacity. So starting today, we would like your help making thank you cards for our local veterans. So through November and the beginning of December, we will be working with the Franklin County Veterans Affairs Office. And so we'll be asking you, our Waynesburg community members, to make a thank you card. You can either pick up materials from the library, take it home, make your card and bring it back, or you can supply your own card that you've made yourself. Just bring it into the library next time you visit. And in the middle of December, we'll be taking those to the Veterans Affairs Office to distribute to our local veterans to say a big thank you for everything they've done for us. So again, we hope that you have a great time sharing some of your thankfulness in action this week with others, and we will see you next week as we talk about the power of positive words together. Bye, friends.